Hey, how you guys doing? It's your boy Amari. I'm still here at Retrocon 2020 in Philadelphia at the Greater Philadelphia Center. You're wondering who's the gentleman sitting next to me? Well, guys, I'm telling you, he's one of the greatest voice actors in the business. He's legendary. He kicks ass, takes no prisoners. You're wondering what is his name? Well, I'm going to tell you what he's about. He's about action, adventure, and the ladies. But right now he's a married man, so we can't talk about the ladies too much. I'm talking about the one and only, the invincible Peter Newman. How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing well. That's quite a description. I wish I could live up to it. I didn't know I had that exciting a life.
I just want to say thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for spending time with me and my audience. I know about you, but I want my audience members to learn a little bit about you. Could you please tell me a little bit about your origin story? How did you get into acting, and specifically voice acting?
Well, I think the voice acting came about because ever since I was a kid, I had the impulse to do funny voices, and as I grew up, started doing just some silly impressions, whatever caught my fancy. And at some point in my life, somebody advised me, you should go talk to an agent, because those silly voices that you do, people are making money doing that. So I did end up talking to an agent at one point, and they were very kind, and they advised me and guided me. And I put together a reel-to-reel demo tape. And that's how long ago it was. It was a reel-to-reel tape. No kidding. I'm sure some of you have no clue what that even means. But just trust me on that. And then I ended up getting sent out on auditions. And as the fates would have it, I got the first audition that I went on. It was the voice of a parrot. And I was hooked, basically. I thought, oh, this is going to be easy. I've found my niche, and it's clear sailing from here. And then, of course, I had to learn about the business and how to be a professional in front of a microphone. But I managed to do it, and had a great time. A wonderful career.
Okay. So, what was? I know you're a superstar voice actor. So, how did you hear about the ThunderCats audition? Because that's what we're all planning to learn about, right? Learn about you from right now.
You're very kind with that superstar business. I'm just a grunt. I was a grunt in the trenches. And ThunderCats came about like so many other jobs came about. My agent sent me for an audition. They said they're looking for different voices for a cartoon. I don't remember if they described it as a pilot at that time. But basically, I was sent to an office. The production company was Rankin Bass, and they didn't even record the audition. They just gave me ideas of the kinds of voices they were looking for. I gave them my ideas of what those voices might sound like, and then I left the office thinking, wow, that was strange. And I think a day or two later, my agent called, or I was in the office, and said, you got the job. And by the way, it's going to be big. It's going to be a whole series. And well, the rest, as you know, is history. And it was the best gig I ever had in my career, doing the ThunderCats and Silverhawks and a couple of other things for that same company.
Whoa, since you mentioned that was the best gig you ever had, there's a lot of wild rumors concerning your character specifically, the Tygra character. But before we go on to the wild and crazy rumors about Tygra, I do have to ask you about Silverhawks, because it's not going to make any sense to me to just discuss Tygra. We're going to leave the juicy parts for later. We're going to give you the meat later, not now. So with Silverhawks, what was going on with that production? Because I did enjoy the show. I did enjoy having you play Quicksilver. My only problem with that show was it wasn't enough action.
You're entitled to your opinion, even though it's completely wrong. But Silverhawks came about as a follow-up to ThunderCats. What happened was I think we were coming to the end of the first season of ThunderCats, and the producers said, we've got another cartoon. It's called Silverhawks. They gave us some descriptions. I don't remember if they even had any artwork about what the characters might look like. And I literally went home and started thinking about voices that might be appropriate, because I had to make it different than what I'd done on ThunderCats. And I was experimenting with different sounds of voices, and I came up with a sound and thought, wow, that's different than what I've done before, and I think it could work for the lead character, that Quicksilver character. Then whenever we got together again at the studio, we all did these in-studio auditions, because all of us wanted to be part of this new project. And I did what I thought would be a good voice for this Quicksilver character, and lo and behold, they agreed. They thought it was a good voice. I ended up getting the Quicksilver character, and, you know, I got another job. It keeps going. And that's how it came about.
So here's my question. Did Rankin Bass ever try to turn Silverhawks into an animated movie, or it was just going to be a straight TV show?
My recollection, it was all just the TV show. The TV show.
Yeah, because I know they wanted to make ThunderCats the movie. They were going to, I know Rankin Bass, they were going to produce a full-feature ThunderCats animated movie and put it in theaters, but because of the, this had nothing to do with you guys, because you guys had no control over that, the failure of Transformers and G.I. Joe made them realize, you know what, let's not do that. Let's just keep it as a regular TV show instead of making it a movie, you know? I really wanted to see ThunderCats in theaters, but unfortunately, due to what was going on in the playground, you know, G.I. Joe failed, Transformers failed, so that kind of made Rankin Bass, let's not do that.
Honestly, I don't think I'd ever heard that explanation before. And from my point of view, I'd heard about that they might want to do that. Nobody ever really approached me through my agent in any serious way about it. And being, you know, an actor, a voice actor, going from job to job, this was later on. This was after we'd finished the original recordings. I was just going about my business, going to auditions, getting some jobs, not getting other jobs. So I never, while it was interesting and hoped I'd be able to participate in any of those kinds of projects, I never hung my hat on it. I never counted on it. This life of an actor in general is a very existential one. You go and do your auditions, you get some jobs, you don't get others. Some jobs you hope you'll get, you won't. Others you don't expect to get, you do. And that's just the way it is. That's just part of that life.
So, okay, well, thank you for at least speaking on it, because I know a lot of times these production companies, they don't share everything with you guys anyway. Sure. Now we're going to get to the juicy part of Tygra and Peter Newman. We're going to the meat now. So, you played several characters on ThunderCats. Tygra, Wily Cat, Monkeyin, and he's one of my favorite characters, Hachiman, the only real human, besides a caveman. So how did you come up with the voice for Wily Cat?
Wily Cat, the description was for a boy, a young teen, something along those lines. And a number of us tried, you know, audition again, in-studio auditions. And I guess I just hit the right note, so to speak. And so I got to be Wily Cat. That's all. It's nothing more complicated than that. Each of us, whenever a new character was going to be put into the story, although Wily Cat was from the beginning as well, we would all give it a shot, and the producers, the director would say, okay, that's the one we're going with. So I just, luck of the draw. I won that audition, I guess I'd say. Okay,
so what about, I know Monkeyin is very easy, you know, you're just imitating the monkey, I just don't know which one. Like, what would you base Monkeyin's animalistic, I mean, like, what kind of monkey was Monkeyin? Was he like a baboon? Was he like a chimpanzee?
No, I thought it more just as an ape, a larger ape, one of the great apes, a gorilla-sized ape, just because of the size he was. I wanted him to have enough sound and volume that it would go with the size of the physical size of the character. That's, yeah.
All right. Hachiman is my favorite human in the show. So how did you come up with Hachiman? Did you study any Sonny Chiba movies or Toshiro Fumune? Coming with his voice?
One of the things that I always loved doing, and still do in fact, is foreign accents. So I was familiar with Japanese accent. I had that in my brain. You know, you have to have a recording of it in your head to be able to reproduce it. So I could have done a number of different things, but here was a samurai warrior, a hero. Excuse me. So I also wanted to give him a kind of gravitas. So rather than a lighter sound, I chose to go with a heavier sound and a very staccato kind of sound. Again, matching what appeared to be the nature of the character, the physical presence, and the action in the scripts as well.
That's cool. That's cool, man. I wish you had a Thundercutter on you right now. So there's some wild rumors going about Tygra. For example, when the Thundercats were leaving Earth, I saw an episode of Full House, and I noticed Tygra. Yeah, you know what I'm about to say. Tygra's schlong was hanging out. You know anything about that?
Tygra's what was hanging out?
Yeah, it was hanging out. I saw it.
Okay, clearly that's the first I've ever heard of that. And same thing about any juicy rumors about Tygra. It was naturally, it had nothing to do with me, and it's kind of funny hearing all this stuff. This is like what you hear in the gossips, you know what I mean, about quote the stars. Well, this was an animated character, so I guess people could make up whatever they wanted to about him. Not my idea. Tygra, as far as I'm concerned, I'm loyal to that character. I love Tygra, and he's good. He's cool, always.
Well, there is another rumor going on. You've heard of Patti Smith and the rock band Scandal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's somebody, they had a dancer in there dressed up kind of like Tygra-esque in the video.
Okay.
Well, like, was there any connection to you and the guy that directed the music video at all?
No, again, I guess I'm living a very sheltered life. I didn't know anything about that. You know, artists are free to express themselves any way they want. Again, it's not something I had any say about or would want any say about. That's not what my job was. So I don't know if it was fun. I hope it was fun. I hope it stirred some people's imaginations and entertained people. And there you go. But like I say, for me, it was always about the cartoon and the original characters. So that's what I enjoyed doing. I hope you guys enjoyed it too.
All right. Well, there's one more thing I have to address. There is talk of a live-action ThunderCats movie in the works. I don't know if you're willing to physically reprise the role of Tygra, but if you don't want to do it, who would you have take over your role for you? And not only that, do they need to come receive your blessing first in order for them to have the role of Tygra? Because not many people can carry that role.
The first thing is, of course, they don't need my blessing because I don't own the character. No, I won't be doing the physical character of Tygra. I don't think I could fill out the suit. And who would they get?
Who would you like to play your role, play your character?
Pressure's on. I can't think of anybody, but he's got to be handsome and muscular, and Tiger's Tiger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because if they do make the live action, they would have to. They must call you up and say, "Hey, is this within the character or behavior of Tygra?" You know?
Yeah. No, the main thing. No, the main thing I have to say. No, nobody needs any clearance from me about that because I say I'm not in charge of anything. So they're free to create. I guess Warner Brothers owns the. I know they own the cartoon. I assume they own the rights to all the characters. No. So they're the ones who'd have to give the clearance. Me? Nah, nobody's calling me about that. All right, listen, guys, it's great talking to you guys, but I gotta hit the road. Okay, take care. Have fun.
Well, we will thank you for your time, and we also want to see you in a live action movie when it does come out, when it's being filmed. At least a cameo, you know.
Maybe I could be Tiger's grandfather.
Or Tiger's father, Javon. Thank you so much for your time, Peter Newman. It was nice talking to you, and I hope to see you again here at Retrocon. And thank you for your time. Thank you for clearing up a lot of these wild and crazy rumors that I heard. I'm just only telling him what I heard. That's it. These are not rumors I created, all right? Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.